the Switch Pro is not coming out this year.
I know I'm a little late on this news, but I really wanted to cover the whole PS4 Remote Play coming to Switch thing, which if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and check it out, because I had fun shooting that one. But there is no way I am not making a video talking about the fact that the Switch Pro is dead. For now, this year. Let's talk about it. You guys like my long sleeve? Switch Pro is something that a lot of people have been talking about for a long time as something they want Nintendo to make. I want to say all the way back to mid-2018, maybe late 2018, there have been all kinds of different rumors, theories, speculations about what some kind of souped-up Switch could be, whether it was adding 4K support or just better graphics, more battery life, less screen bezels, bigger screen, whatever. All kinds of theories people have about what they want a new Switch to be, and we've even covered a lot of those. I mean, less than a month ago, we were talking about one rumor talking about a full metal Switch. But the thing is, with all these different various rumors and things that people have heard, there's never been any actual official announcement from Nintendo. And in fact, we now have something that's kind of an official announcement in the opposite. The fact that they have currently no plans to release a Switch Pro anytime this year. Now, this wasn't any kind of official press conference. It wasn't like they did a big announcement or a Nintendo Direct or anything like that. It was part of them reviewing their fiscal quarter at the end of this last year, where we've gotten a lot of great figures about how the Switch has sold super well. It had a great end of year sales, Pokemon sold incredibly well, all kinds of good sounding news there. But as part of it and discussing their future plans for 2020, they had the specific line that there are no plans to release a new model this year. Now, there's a couple important things to work out with that wording. I think some people, when they hear something like that, have this hope of, well, they're saying that, but they might still release a Switch, right? And with that particular wording, I don't think so.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Normally, when there's an announcement like that, where it actually means it could really be happening, there's a little more of a non-committal, evasive answer. A really popular wording being, we have nothing to announce at this time, or there are no plans to announce anything. But the words of no plans to release this year is a pretty heavy actual statement of, no, this is not happening. Now, does this mean that 100% it can't happen? Not necessarily. I mean, even with that wording, there's always the chance that what they are actually saying is that, yes, we are working on something, it's planned for 2021, and who knows, some kind of external circumstances could push them to make that an earlier date, like late this year, but that's pretty unlikely. Instead, the focus this year will not be on a new model Switch, but rather focusing on making more software releases and really advertising the benefits of what Switch models are already out there, including the Switch Lite, which I personally really love, but has been met with a lot of mixed reception from a lot more people because especially the idea of not being able to dock it is just a really weird thing. On top of that, while there's not going to be a new model in the specific sense of an actual different Switch, there is clearly a lot of interest from Nintendo right now to start putting more stuff into special editions, as shortly after the announcement came that the Switch Pro is at least not happening this year, we also got an official announcement that we are getting an Animal Crossing bundle for the regular Switch, which by far already looks like one of the best special editions they've done. This is something that I have ranted and been kind of angry about time and time again, where I've never really been happy with the regular Switch special editions. The Pokemon one for the Lite is actually pretty cool, I like that one, but for the regular Switch, it always feels very much like a lost opportunity. They might do some special color Joy-Cons, but then the back of the system is a very simple print. It has a regular dock with just a little extra design on it. The Animal Crossing one is a lot more thorough, where we have special designs on the Joy-Cons for their colors. They have white backs. The dock itself is actually repainted, which looks super cool. The back of the Switch is still black with kind of an etching design, but it looks a little more thorough than what we've seen before. So a really cool design, and hopefully this is something we're gonna start seeing more of throughout this year. Which, by the way, I did successfully locked down a pre-order for that Animal Crossing Switch, so if you want to see that unboxed, make sure you subscribe because I'm definitely going to open that thing up the moment I get my hands on it. So when people hear this news that the Switch Pro is not coming out this year, I have seen mostly two main immediate follow-up thoughts, arguments, whatever, questions that they have. One, does this mean that we are ever getting a Switch Pro, or is it just simply a dead concept? And two, what does this mean for Nintendo when it comes to facing the fact that this year both Sony and Microsoft will be releasing their own next-gen systems? Well, first off, for the question for Switch Pro, I absolutely think we are getting some kind of Switch Pro. Going back again to that wording that they used of having no plans of releasing a new model this year, it's pretty important, I think, that they actually did specify this year. It makes a lot of sense for them to work on more models for the Switch in the future. It may not necessarily be the thing that a lot of people are hoping in their minds is a Switch Pro. I've talked about this a couple times that really when it comes down to what a Switch Pro or a new Switch model could be, there is a lot of different possibilities, and it's not necessarily going to be that checklist of all the things people want, like say 4K resolution support. But I do think it is very likely Nintendo will release some kind of new model down the road, possibly sometime in 2021, which really makes sense too with the pacing of how the Switch Lite and the revised regular Switch came out in 2019, 2 years after the initial Switch launch. 2021, 2 years later, we can get an initial refreshed batch. As for what this means for Nintendo going up against PlayStation and Xbox later this year, honestly, I don't think it actually means very much. There's this theory that some people get in their minds that, oh, well, Xbox and PlayStation are releasing their next-gen systems, and that's going to immediately make the Switch irrelevant, because they're going to have way more powerful graphics, they're going to be the hot new systems, they're going to be the things that everyone jumps onto, and they're all going to forget about Nintendo, and it's going to be back to the dark ages for them. And honestly, I think that's just not very likely. A large part of where this theory is rooted is the history of what happened back with the Wii versus the PS3 and 360, and then of course with the Wii U. The Wii U was a big financial failure, that's a whole thing, but the Wii especially I think is a big part of where people get this idea, because even though the Wii was this huge financial success because it opened up the market a lot more, motion controls were a cool thing, there was a perception issue that started happening with it where people started thinking the Wii was just not going to be able to compete with what you saw on 360 and PS3, mainly because, again, power-wise, there was a big difference in what those systems could do graphically, and anytime a multi-platform game came out, if there was a Wii version, it was honestly, well, terrible compared to what you could play on the PS3 or 360 instead. The thing is though, with the Switch, I don't really think this is going to be an issue. Yes, there's going to be a bit of a graphical leap and there's going to be a larger gap between systems, but the Switch has been such a success, especially because I think the concept of it sells so well to people about, yes, it's a portable, yes, it's a dock, you can do either, that it's not a huge concern. Nintendo is still bringing really strong first-party games to it, and there's been a lot more renewed third-party interest for it that's kept a lot of great titles coming to it, aside from EA, who so far has been really avoiding it for whatever reason. Something else worth really considering about this whole situation too is the recent rumors regarding PlayStation Remote Play possibly coming to the Switch in the future, and the long-term ongoing rumors that xCloud could make its way to the system as well, because while the Switch might not necessarily pack the power to play those kind of games directly, if it does support being able to be used as a remote play device for those games, well, even if it's not the most powerful system on the market, it will be able to accomplish playing those games portably on the go like that, and it makes it a very tempting offer to pick up to have with both systems, or even just on its own in the case of xCloud. The point I'm trying to make is this: the Switch Pro is not coming out this year. That's my thoughts on this at least. Let me know what you guys think though down below in the comments. Are you happy that they're not getting a Switch Pro this year? Are you distraught and angry about it? Do you want Nintendo to work on something like that sooner? Do you not care at all and you're just planning to get a next-gen system? Just let me know down below. I can't think of any other way to end this video. Out. End scene. Like and subscribe.